Tonight on Podcast Them Down, we figure out why the hell MANOWAR keeps hailing to England.
Cast them down.
Hail Metal Nation, it is I, Tim, from American power metal band Burning Shadows, out with the new singer. And then 3 other bands that are all good, and links are all in the description. So we were supposed to finish up the MANOWAR bracket tonight. However, Mr. Kent fucked it all up. So he is conspicuously absent. Man, the episode started and I already can't talk.
I mean, isn't a recurring theme of Kent leaving us?
Seems like there are several episodes where this has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so I guess what that means for you, listener, viewer, twatcher, is that you get more content out of it.
Yeah. Our wasted afternoon is your wasted life, or something like that.
But, yeah, it is, you know, it's good to learn delayed gratification. So, So I confidently announced in the last MANOWAR episode that we were going to award the crown and the ring to the winner, and then it turns out we can talk about MANOWAR at length.
Yeah.
So we were not able to crown the winner of the March MANOWAR Madness bracket. So you're gonna have to wait because we're not gonna do it tonight either.
Yeah. Although I'm sure by the end of March you might learn, possibly.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Maybe. You know, April MANOWAR Madness works too. We just keep moving on, and then it becomes ANOWAR Addenda.
And then if we push it even further, we're back to MANOWAR Madness in May.
Yeah.
MANOWAR Madness.
MANOWAR Madness.
But
oh my God,
Dave, I'm pretty sure that's Metallica, so we might have to work some things out.
Oh shit! Should we do Metallica?
Dude, I can't wait for Metallica. Hey, Tim, and also Metal Nation, on the date that we're recording this, it's the actual anniversary of the release of Master of Puppets, 36 years ago today.
Yeah.
One of the
goddamn, that means I'll be 36 this year.
One of the best Metallica albums.
Way to go out on a limb.
One of the best Metallica albums.
Well, I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why that's controversial. Because most people would say it's the best. And I am demoting it to one of the best.
Are you an Justice guy?
I am an and Justice for even with the shitty mix. And hey, if you don't like the mix, there's the door. See, that's a callback to the Hammerfall episode.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's aired yet. But no, if you
that's
don't,
either a fond memory or a vision of the future.
That's right.
If you don't like the mix on And Justice for All, man up and buy the fucking box set, listen to the rough mixes, and you got your base. All right?
Yep.
Stop fucking whining about it. Jesus fuck. But I'll save that argument for Metallica.
Metallica. Can't wait.
Do we have to do like 5 episodes about Metallica? I feel like that's going to be very easy, but
that's not nearly enough. We're going to have too much content for all of the Metallica madness.
Yeah, I agree with episodes, but I disagree with have to. We will.
We don't have to.
I'm just thinking 5 episodes is barely going to get us out of the 1980s.
5 episodes is barely going to get us out of Kill 'Em All.
I have a lot to say about Kill 'Em All, actually. For example, did you know that the studio they recorded it in is some rich asshole's house now?
Is that rich asshole Lars Ulrich?
No, it's just some guy bought it. It's in downtown Rochester, New York.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a studio and some guy bought it and turned it into a douchey apartment house.
You know, that's not too far from where MANOWAR came into coalescence.
That's right. So MANOWAR. Oh, I like how you brought it back to the topic at hand. MANOWAR is from Auburn, New York, which is between Syracuse, New York, and Rochester, New York, and it's like the fastest way to get there from either of those cities is a toll road, and they don't have toll booths anymore, so you got to make sure you get your Easy Pass or Toll Pass or whatever from the rental car company. Not that I'm stalking Joey DeMaio.
Not at all. No, not to say that.
So,
not that you have a T-shirt that says Timmy DeMaio. Hey, where you going to today?
all right, so I think the first place I want to go is we talked about the drunken Orson Welles thing in during our bracket discussion. So on both what is it? On both Fighting the World, right? It was Fighting the World with Defender? Yes, it is.
Yep.
On Fighting the World, the MANOWAR album, and Battle Hymn, they got Battle Hymns is the album and Battle Hymn is the song. So on Battle Hymns, they got Orson Welles, who would like do anything for a small amount of money at the time.
Yeah.
They got him to do some narration that's on the album. Okay. And we talked about the French. So it turns out Dave has not seen this. So basically, Orson Welles did a commercial for Paul Masson wine, which is a California champagne, or what was it?
So he was actually the paid spokesperson of Paul Masson wines and did many Paul Masson commercials. But this is probably the best of them.
So what year are we talking here? Because I feel like this is something that I missed. I'm like, what, I think 3 years younger than you, Tim. I think this might have just been something that I missed in like the very early 90s, right?
Well, no, this was all... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he died in 1985. This has got to be late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
I want to say that's right. And basically,
I wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. Show me how you can say those two words and put the emphasis on it, and I'll go down on you.
And he's not too far off. So he was doing this commercial, and from my understanding, he claims it was like after lunch or something, and he had a couple of drinks at lunch, and these have survived to this day to make fun of Orson Welles. So,
okay.
Yeah. It became,
here we go.
In the days of like shock jocks and like radio, these like became famous sort of audio clips and drops. And
okay. So like the Buddy Rich clips where he's like yelling and swearing at his band.
Exactly. Okay. So this is like famous captured raw audio.
Before there was public freakouts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's a bunch of them on YouTube. So,
all right, so
they're
we'll
all
take
different.
a moment and we'll discuss some.
I
of
found the
other...
fake one. And one more quick. You as an 80s, or us all as 80s and 90s kids. He also had. So the thing you were the reference Matt had to I wouldn't direct someone this way. He also did a frozen peas commercial.
Yeah.
Which
no, he did they were, I think, canned peas. But
oh Lord.
Right. Well, he did oh fuck. Sorry. This thing got loud. He did this peas commercial, and he like complains about the ad copy.
Yeah, which is awful copy. The copy's awful.
He is totally right. But if you ever watched the show The Critic, which was a a 90s Fox animated show that I think was on like after The Simpsons, right? In the 90s, early 90s.
It was on ABC for a season and then on Fox for a season.
So they parodied that. They're even good when you're dead. And he kept selling Mrs. Phelps frozen fish sticks.
He said on the critic, I think the line was Mrs. Paul's peas. They're filled with fresh
crunchy goodness and green
crunchy
penis.
goodness and green penis.
That's terrible. All right.
They're even.
All
right. So I'm gonna have to edit this episode again. I bet, because I don't think the audio is gonna come through to the stream or the recording. But here we go.
This is a good one. Yeah.
Turn camera. Marked. 102, take one. With overlap, action please. Action awesome, please.
Just do anything?
No, sorry, cut. Yeah, rolling. 102, take two.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
102, take three. Action, please.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
The French.
All right, so Dave just saw it. We'll put the link in the description. So Dave just enjoyed the outtakes.
I feel bad laughing, but it's objectively
right.
funny.
I agree. He was, over that whole time, he was dying. He needed some money. He agrees to do this commercial. He drinks too much at lunch, and then, he's embarrassed for decades later, but that doesn't mean it's not funny.
Yeah. I've seen the completed commercial, and it's entirely voiceover.
Yeah, so they had him come back the next day and voice over.
Yeah. They didn't use any of the things he said.
And that's kind and just, and that's the way it should be. Like, why humiliate a person needlessly until after they're dead, and YouTube can amuse us afterwards?
No, my favorite one is the first one where he goes, "He doesn't do anything."
He doesn't do anything.
Like it seemed like he was waiting for him to do a thing.
Yeah, clearly he didn't prepare, or maybe he had but forgot. So,
don't wait for
when you're listening to.
That won't happen.
When I listen to Defender on Fighting the World, I can't not think, you're the Defender. All right. So now that we got that situated, I wanted to talk about this article on loudersound.com about Hail to England. So it's very informative, and it has some claims in here that I think we might have to discuss. All right. So Hail to England, the third MANOWAR album, and let me see where it landed on our bracket. It defeated Into Glory Ride.
Yeah, it's still a contender, I believe.
It is still a contender. It's in the Ross the Boss era finals at the moment. It's going to be against Fighting the World. But perhaps today we can just look into the background. So I'm just going to redo the whole article. Link in the description. Oh, what did I say on that one episode that you love so much? You can find it downstairs.
Yeah, you can find it downstairs.
Yeah. All right, so this is on loudersound.com. It's by Chris Chancellor. Published on June 16th, 2020. Oh, they almost got your birthday, but they missed it. All right, it's called, and on the 8th day, MANOWAR created power metal. Majestic to some, ludicrous to others. No one embodied 80s metal like MANOWAR, and their third album, Hail to England, was the jewel in their crown. Guitarist Ross the Boss Friedman and bassist Joey DeMaio met in 1980 at a Black Sabbath show at Newcastle City Hall. They were both native New Yorkers, both enthralled by tales of epic fantasy, and both invigorated by the new wave of British heavy metal at the height of its power. They resolved to create the ultimate heavy metal band, MANOWAR. Feel free to dive in anytime I take a breath.
I mean, first of all, I would like to congratulate whoever picked the photo for this article because it's perfect.
Yeah, so right before this paragraph there's a photo of MANOWAR where the drummer Scott Columbus is wearing the most clothes, and he's wearing some sort of leather pants
shirt
and some sort of leather strap. What would you even call this?
It's like a leather shawl.
Yeah, over his chest, and he's got the most clothes. So Ross the Boss is there wearing tan leather pants and, like, I don't know, a Tarzan type thing over his shoulder. And then, of course, Joey and Eric are wearing European style leather bathing suits.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Variously bedazzled.
Yes.
I would like to point out that almost all of them are covering their shins.
All right. So, quote, "We wanted to look like something never before seen in heavy metal," Ross affirms, audibly beaming down the line from the States. "We wanted to be wilder than just denim and leather. What would be wilder? Animal fur."
I mean, this begs the question at the moment, like, when MANOWAR compares, like, jeans and leather to Cracker Jack clothes.
Right, not Cracker Jack clothes.
And jeans and leather are favorable. They never really define what Cracker Jack clothes are. And I wonder if that isn't a subtle shift in their approach to heavy metal when they wrote MANOWAR, the song.
I suspect they realize how awful it is to play shows wearing fur.
Yes, that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, go ask Turasas. Like,
man, I was in the front row for some of those Turasas shows.
You could smell them.
And I could feel their sweaty paint drops.
Right.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, that's another band you could smell. Not just vomit from Chile. I don't know if that episode's aired yet. Either, but this is all the episodes lately have had cross episode references. So make sure you're up on your podcast them down. That's your disclaimer. All right. Debuting with 1982's Battle Hymns, followed by 1983's Into Glory Ride, the loincloth-clad quartet's first years were marred by label hassles and the indifference in their native U.S. Other European countries later took the band to their hearts, but it was us lot who first heeded MANOWAR's call to arms, inspiring the title of 1984's Hail to England. Quote.
So this is written by an English person.
Assuming. That's what I'm getting out of this. It didn't say that anywhere until now. But quote, "Our first shows were in England," enthuses Ross, explaining the bonds of affection MANOWAR feel for our rainy homeland.
There we go.
Yes. There were all these bands from England, the new wave of British heavy metal, Saxon, Diamond Head, Samson, a lot of bands were underground. Then suddenly they weren't underground anymore. Judas Priest always flew the flag of heavy metal high and still do. Metal just became the language of that generation. It exploded and it was a great thing. I noticed Iron Maiden is conspicuously absent.
Iron Maiden is conspicuously absent. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
Which is another nice callback or call forward to whatever episode I said that in. Anyway, even the UK rock media were on Manowar's side at this early stage, although not everyone was convinced by these beefcake Yanks in cat skin pants. A lot were, quote, a lot of the English critics ripped the shit out of us, stresses Ross. They thought we were, he drops his upbeat New York patter to perfectly channel a downbeat British sneer.
Oh no.
Fucking bollocks and fucking shite. But the great ones like journalist Malcolm Dome and others championed the band. That's why we named the album Hail to England. Reaching number 83 in the UK chart, Manowar resolved. Are you laughing that they're bragging that they reached 83?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is our fucking rocket ship of an album going on 83.
Hey, it charted like no Manowar album ever had.
Wasn't
it did. It
wasn't,
did.
Wasn't Warriors of the World like it charted way better than that.
In like, yeah, specifically in Germany, I would imagine as well.
No, I meant in the US. It was
in the US, really.
No.
Speaking of the,
I'm 100% wrong. It says the album peaked at number 2 on the German charts. So there you go. You were right, and it wasn't even number 1.
But calling back to the US for a second, I found that line about them meeting indifference in the United States to be like crushingly honest and telling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, ow.
Yep. All right. Reaching number 83 in the UK album chart, Manowar resolved to hit this territory hard with 1984's Spectacle of Might tour, playing scattered shows on the continent before storming 11 dates across England, blowing the roofs off such unlikely true metal hotspots such as Bournemouth, Middlesbrough, and St. Albans. UK listeners, let us know if that means anything to you, because it means nothing to me.
Tim, I'm imagining hamlets around the size of Marburg, and that exciting.
Yeah,
Matt, you lived in England.
I did live in England. I mean, so like Bournemouth is like a coastal town. Middlesbrough is also sort of like it's in Yorkshire. It's they're all okay. This would basically be like saying true metal hotspots like Duluth, Columbus,
got it,
and Hackensack.
Well, Columbus does have a major league hockey team.
Yeah, so
that's about all.
We played a metal fest at Oshecki's Live in Columbus, Ohio. I assume you mean Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, of course.
Not Columbus, Indiana, which is also pretty fucking metal. All things still considered.
All right. One bizarre rumor claims that Manowar began the tour as the support band for Merciful Fate, but the billing switched when Manowar garnered the best audience reaction. Ross is happy to shoot this down in flames with garrulous New York intensity. We were always going to be the headliner, he says. What happened was Merciful Fate were our special guests. We got to England and we had all of our brand new equipment. We called it the Wall of Voodoo. It was so huge and so new, it was gleaming like a brand spanking new battleship. And they walk into the venue and go, "Can we play through that?" And we go, "Can we fuck your wife?"
You know, and can you believe saying that sort of thing to King Diamond?
I also like the intimation here that every member of Merciful Fate is married to the same woman.
Oh, that's funny. All right.
I mean, maybe they were referring to Melissa. For all you Merciful Fate fans out there.
Ross falls silent and waits for Hammer to stop laughing. I mean, no, we bust our asses the last few years to get to this point. We've spent record advances and expenses and stress and we're just going to turn over our wall of voodoo. Joey said, go get every piece of gear you got and play through that. After playing one show with scaled down production, Ross says Merciful Fate never turned up again. They never called us to say they were quitting. They never told the agents or promoters. They just fucked off the tour after that first night. That is the damn truth. And they said, emphasizes Ross, still sounding genuinely astonished 36 years on, we denied them lights and sound. That was a bad thing to say because every writer in England was at that first show and they said, that's bullshit. We were there. You had full lights and full sound. They just didn't hand you the accolades of their audience, which was none of their business. You gotta earn it.
You know, the way he's talking reminds me of the way someone else talks.
Yep.
But, you know, I'm not going to say who that is, but I would love to hear the Merciful Fate. Like, can we get a hard-hitting interview with King Diamond to hear the other side of this story?
If I could get a hard-hitting interview with King Diamond, I would die. Just expire on the spot.
He would just say, I've played a lot of concerts. I don't even remember.
Yeah. You know, back in the 80s, we played a lot of concerts with a lot of different bands.
Holy shit. Can we please have Dave be King Diamond for our King Diamond interview?
I'm going to alienate our Danish fans by making a bad Danish accent.
I found the whole tour, by the way. It's they played I'm looking at it backwards. Hang on. They played St. Albans.
Okay, like north of London, all right.
Bournemouth, Bristol, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Manchester,
yep,
Leeds,
yep,
London.
Okay. Hempstead or something.
Middlesbrough,
and
Nottingham.
Nottingham. Okay,
right there in Sherwood Forest, MANOWAR, live at the sheriff's office.
And this was all in March of 1984. Now,
I think I read an article about how people from Nottingham are like so frustrated and upset that all American people know about Nottingham is Sherwood Forest. We're a legitimately important city.
Agree to disagree. All right, I'm looking for Merciful Fate's dates. So Merciful Fate played a lot of fucking shows. All right, so let's see. We're in. All right, ready? They played St. Albans, so they definitely did the first show, and it looks like they played Curse of the Pharaohs, Evil into the Coven, and more. Those are all like fantastic songs.
So you actually have their set list. Wow.
Yes.
Are you on setlist.fm?
I am on setlist.fm.
That thing is a gem.
Not a sponsor.
Wow.
So no, but can I give it a shout out for a second? Because Fish has fish.net, which is a fan curated site, but nobody does this for metal except the community surrounding setlist.fm. So thank you for letting me check my Blind Guardian set lists from 20 years ago. Big shout out.
So then Merciful Fate has nothing listed until the Leeds tour. So I can't tell if this like checks out or not. I mean, it's they played 2 shows that MANOWAR also played. Right? But
that's what it sounds like. And
why would you take a week off if MANOWAR's not gonna so like I feel like this story is exaggerated because maybe things didn't go well at the first show, but is that why they didn't play until a week and a day later?
Maybe there's an equally good chance somebody got sick,
right,
and didn't bother to tell anybody about it, and Ross the Boss just can't remember them playing that final show in Leeds.
Yep. All right.
Or there was big drama. Who knows?
All right, so continuing with the article. Drawing breath, Ross's tone softens. What? I don't know why that felt weird. Softens?
Yeah.
Oh, it's late. All right. I have nothing against them. I love that band, he says. I'm friends with the two guitar players, ex-band member Mike Denner and Hank Sherman. They're great guys. I asked them, what happened to you that night? They're like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I know. That's okay. We know. Oh, Matt just texted me. He said he lost internet, which is why he's been frozen like that.
That was what I was wondering.
Yeah. So those watching on the stream or on YouTube, Matt's frozen like he's reading something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
All right. Well, you know what, Tim? We're just going to have to carry on. I'm going to vamp for a little bit while you communicate with Mr. Matthew and talk about how much I enjoy King Diamond and his contributions to Merciful Fate and how they have brought us right back to Metallica in certain senses, because that being one of Metallica's favorite covers to whip out was the Merciful Fate medley for a couple of years there.
I love that cover. It's so good.
Yeah,
they
do a really loving job of playing that song and making it their own.
Yeah, Metallica's always, we should save this for Maytallica, but Metallica really can take a cover and make it Metallica, which, like when Burning Shadows does the cover, we don't make it Burning Shadows, because it's fun for me to play it the way it already exists, but it kind of makes it boring, which was the whole problem with that Iced Earth cover CD. They didn't make it Iced Earth.
Yeah, they just played it through Iced Earth sounds and played it completely faithfully.
We've played a ton of covers, but that's why there aren't many Burning Shadows cover releases. And Matt's back. It's because when we record them, it's super fun for me to do it the way the band already did it. But I don't want to change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. These are we want to play it the way it was originally played, that we fell in love with, and all of that.
Exactly. So, yeah. So
I just want to give a shout out to my phone and living in 2022, because my house internet is down and somehow my phone is giving me the internet signal to do all this bandwidthy stuff. So hail technology.
Hail technology. All right.
Wow. This is starting to sound like Gather Darkness.
Yeah.
Under the repulsor dome. Wait, can I get content matched for your stuff?
Wait,
only if you do it well enough to fool the machine. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lyrics on Gather Darkness there, Dave.
I don't know. Michelle and I were talking about this. I don't know any Burning Shadows lyrics unless I personally wrote them.
Dave's a dick.
No, I can't remember them. I have to be focusing on not forgetting the drum parts.
So Matt is singing Breaking the Sanctuary Abandonment. So
oh no, I knew exactly what it was. It was just like I'd never heard it enunciated that clearly.
Oh snap.
I like that song.
It's a great song. I love that song. I'm usually just like paying attention to me.
All right, here we go. Drawing breath. Ross's tone softens. There's that word again. I have nothing against them. I love that band. Oh, I already read all this shit. What happened to you?
Is he still talking shit about Merciful Fate?
They're like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I know. That's okay. We know. All right. This wall of voodoo was clearly very special. This was the super-powered stack that saw the band enter the 1984 Guinness Book of World Records for the world's loudest performance, superseding the Who's 1976 record. Right. exclaims Ross. Our onstage cruising volume was something like 135 decibels. That is
wow,
so ludicrously loud. We called the sound that we produced divine wind, but it's very clean and clear, unlike the Motorhead sound. Theirs was very distorted. Everything's in the monitors. The only thing on our monitor system was vocals and drums. No guitars or bass. They were too freaking loud. I refute that they were loud and clear. Because I've seen MANOWAR. They were loud as fuck, but it wasn't clear.
No.
Louder than hell?
They were indeed louder than hell, and we saw them. How many times have you seen MANOWAR, Tim?
One or two. Once at the Thunderdome in Baltimore.
Oh my God.
In Brooklyn, Maryland. It's Baltimore.
Oh,
and then
wow.
once at Sonar, which is no longer there. So neither venue I saw MANOWAR at exists anymore. Both times they were very, very loud, but I wouldn't say they were they were clear.
I mean,
and at Sonar they had to fight the room because it was basically a metal box.
Yeah.
That's why those two venues are closed, because MANOWAR actually did structural damage when they played, and the building inspectors shut them down.
When they light up, have the roof nailed down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. One of the most important songs on Hail to England, Army of the Immortals, was Ross's ode to MANOWAR's growing legion of fans, already developing the sort of passionate commitment that would later manifest as the cult of the MANOWARrior. There was a richly motivational, unifying fervor to the tune, exemplifying MANOWAR's philosophy of making a disparate and scattered fan base feel part of a worldwide brotherhood. We said no matter what country you're from, whatever color or race, if you're into MANOWAR, we are united in blood, united in metal, he explains. The whole genre is like that now. There are bands in Africa, there's Mongolian metal. We're all brothers and sisters, and we preach that at our concerts. Metal is the thing that binds us all together. MANOWAR definitely was the first to say that.
That's a really long way to say the only color that matters is green.
Precisely. And I don't mean to be crass, but I actually do mean to be crass. In MANOWAR's sense, green and other colors mattered just as much. They were in it for the girls.
Oh, that's a different kind of green there.
Yes.
Yes. But, right.
That being said, I mean, he does make a good point. They were probably the only band I know of that, started. So Die for Metal, a much later song. Like, it's all about, you're into metal. Here's a beer. Metal is all that matters. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And then going, like, I guess that was the first song where they're talking about the brotherhood of metal, and then like Iced Earth, Matt Barlow. So this was when it was okay to listen to Iced Earth. Matt Barlow started every time he addressed the crowd with brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But MANOWAR also excluded the false. So
right, and I think that's an important distinction, because just here, metal is the thing that binds us, not being a poser. You have to be a true warrior of metal in order to be in fellowship with the MANOWAR and the MANOWARriors.
Thank you for using that word, because there is an almost religious fellowship aspect to MANOWAR's evangelism for metal. Like,
I mean, it is.
It's so warmly accepting if you feel it in your heart, like they say it on every album in a variety of ways. There's just this one simple distillation of it in Return of the Warlord. It's just one line. It's, if you like metal, you're my friend.
Which is
it's such a great line.
And that's
it's,
just like
it's such a dumb line, but it is a great line.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
And
Yeah,
that line follows the line, I don't like to save, it's more fun to spend.
It does. It really does. I need to stop living by MANOWAR lyrics.
I disagree.
I'm really committed to the MANOWAR bit.
I think if you lived by MANOWAR lyrics, you would live a happy life.
Short, but happy. Yeah.
You would feel empowered.
Every light I see is green.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, maybe not the traveling ones. Maybe not the car and motorcycle songs, but the other ones. All right. So, what I also think is funny about MANOWAR is what is false changes with the times. So when they started talking about false metal, it was the hair bands. Eventually, it became grunge, I believe, and then it became new metal. And then when we saw them at Sonar, fucking 17 years ago, Joey DeMaio made some big deal about country music. It's like,
and the other thing is
are we here playing country? Fuck no.
All of their anti-synth stuff in the late 80s, early 90s, like this album was made completely with guitars and real instruments, no synths. And then everything that they released after 2003 was just like loaded with orchestra and synth. But it was epic and true because they made it so.
Because MANOWAR did it. All right.
That's right.
All right, moving on. Although the band's first two albums were no slouches, Hail to England was the breakthrough, finding the band at their manliest and heaviest. I totally disagree with that.
That's a way to put it too.
Not to reveal the discussion we'll have when we finish the bracket, but that is just patently false. But anyway, Ross is keenly aware of how influential this album has proved over the years. Quote, "We invented this thing and they call it power metal."
Holy shit.
He observes, all those musicians that follow MANOWAR from the beginning, they all became successful. Amon Amarth, Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Sabaton. Sabaton, my God, they worship us. I mean, worship. Sabaton's Joachim Broden bought Hail to England based on its cover, and it didn't let him down. I had never heard the band before, but damn, how heavy and mighty it seemed to me, he says. Yeah, so like, now he claims that they invented the Metal Brotherhood. Then he claims that they invented power metal in 1984.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is... There's many problems with that. Not the least of which, maybe a discussion for Metallica, is Metallica advertised Kill 'Em All as power metal.
Well, that's because they had heard about MANOWAR.
And Dio predates.
Joey DeMaio traveled back in time to explain the concept of power metal to Metallica.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Dio, the father of power metal, predates both of those. So it's like, So,
well, that's because...
I love Ross the Boss, but I'm sorry you're wrong.
So Dio traveled into the future, and then Joey DeMaio is a clone that traveled back into the past, and then there's a movie there.
This is a very complicated answer, but that's how it happened.
And every time we learn about it, the story is slightly changed.
And I just want to say, for the record, I'm not really sure how some of those bands can have any musical connection to MANOWAR stylistically at all. Like, there's no evidentiary music to state that Blind Guardian was influenced by anything that MANOWAR did.
Yeah, Blind Guardian is not very MANOWAR at all.
Yeah.
Like, they're too fast. They started as thrash. You know?
And there's nothing manly about Blind Guardian. Let's be honest. They are the least
Right.
masculine affirming power metal band that there is.
Yeah, and I don't think a Monomarth could be considered
Right?
Manowar or power metal.
Well, they were probably inspired to play songs about Vikings because they heard
right.
a Manowar song.
Yeah, shit. I have all the albums right here. We can figure out what Manowar song they heard.
What's the earliest Viking song there is?
Not that album. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, well, like Manowar. This is a phenomenon for another episode, but Manowar like decides something's metal and then just kind of tries to make it metal. So they did Thor the Powerhead on one of those early albums.
Okay, so that's probably it. Yeah, and that's what taught him on a Marth to Viking.
Yeah, and they go Norse mythology is metal, you know, and it is so, right? And then later was it Triumph of Steel? They decided that Native Americans were metal.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wrote Spirit Horse of the Cherokee and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it didn't really stick. I think it should have stuck. But they abandoned it later. And then I guess they decided Elvis was metal. So
yes,
they did an Elvis cover on Warriors of the World.
Yeah, it took me a second. I was like, yep, I know.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Let's finish off the article. There's a pride and gratitude in Ross's voice as he fondly recalls the potency of this unit, rounded out by singer Eric Adams and drummer Scott Columbus, now touring in his eponymous solo band. I've never had to say that word aloud, ever.
Yeah, that's a fun word to say.
You nailed it.
Ross just got back from touring Australasia, playing Hail to England in its entirety. It's a top metal album, one of the top metal albums ever, he enthuses. Those first 6 records are untouchable. I don't think a metal band will ever do it like that again.
That may be the truth. I don't think a metal band ever will do it like that again.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I think you're right. Yeah, so what's the 6th album? That would be Triumph of Steel, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
That does check out unless he's talking.
Yeah. Battle Hymns, Into Glory Ride, Hail to England, Sign of the Hammer,
Fighting
the World. Oh, it's Kings of Metal.
Kings of Metal, yeah.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
Triumph.
Then it's
Well,
Triumph
5,
and Loud.
6.
Our bracket is so complicated. That's why. Yeah.
How could we have forgotten the Kings of Metal?
Yeah.
So basically, the good ones are the ones he was on.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Well, of course, that's what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess my whole point is that I'm sorry you didn't invent power metal, but you probably invented the brotherhood of metal, or at least popularized it.
Oh, absolutely, and made the most noise about it.
They contributed to power metal. I don't think we can say they're not uninvolved in the development of power metal.
When I think of power metal, I do not think of Manowar. I think of Manowar as heavy metal.
Okay.
I agree. And I think there's something to be said about the fact that Manowar really does kind of stand alone among all bands. There's no one that sounds like them. They don't sound like a normal American metal band from those years that were so touched by the punk and thrash scene.
Yeah.
Or the death metal scene. It's like Manowar took hard rock but made it fucking heavy, just like straight up heavy, and they don't even sound like British bands of their era. You know? And when they cite Saxon and Priest as like inspirations and contemporaries, like musically, I don't hear it. Manowar has always just sounded like this crunchy fucking metal.
Like they sound like Manowar.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, that's like,
and you know, their double bass and their fast picking can definitely take some amount of credit for informing a lot of like the speed of power metal, I feel like, you know, the German speed metal tradition even is different than what MANOWAR was putting out in those years too.
Mm-hmm.
What was funny for a long time was just to wrap it up is MANOWAR has an album called Hail to England, but then they kept like not touring there. which was always funny. So between 1994 and 2011, they played once. Oh, no, they didn't play it at all, because I searched for MANOWAR England, and they played the New England Metal Festival. So,
oh my God.
April 7th, 1994, they played London, and then they weren't back in England, even though they have an album called Hail to England, until March 27th, 2011, when they played Birmingham.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
When was the last time they played in the United States?
Well,
I mean,
before I answer that, after 2011, they only played 2 more times. They did 2 nights in 2019 in Birmingham. I guess they like Birmingham.
it's a true metal city, and they want to rock and not pose. I mean, I've been to Birmingham, and it is definitely that.
All right, so the U.S., what year did we see them? 2005, right?
Good Lord. Yeah.
So they did a tour in the U.S. in 2011, where they played Worcester, Cleveland, 2 nights in Cleveland.
I remember
they played
Cleveland
the
shows.
Starland. They played the Starland Ballroom, and I was gonna go, but it was like
You were?
$80 bucks.
Yeah, it was $80 a ticket and
to go to the
drive to
Starland
Cleveland.
Ballroom. So I saw Symphony X at the Starland Ballroom for like $20. You know,
that's right. That's the one in New Jersey. That's when they were opening for Iced Earth, right? Yeah, yeah. Yes. But I was seriously considering going to see MANOWAR that time in Cleveland, because they hadn't announced a New Jersey show yet. And when I saw the price of the tickets, I was like,
I was like, now I'll catch them next time.
But I'm paying $80 to see MANOWAR.
So then in 2012 on the Lord of Steel World Tour, which no one should have gone to, they played Worcester, Huntington, New York. I don't know where that is.
I think it's on Long Island, maybe.
They played Chicago, Minneapolis, Houston, Dallas, Denver, San Francisco, and Pomona. That's it.
Pomona.
Yeah.
Pomona.
At the Fox Theater.
No love. Man, there have been some Fish adjacent shows at the Fox Theater.
I'm noticing.
I'm surprised that
no Rochester, no Syracuse, no Utica, no Buffalo.
Yeah,
like it's
no
just
love
play
for
near
New
your
England.
house.
What the hell? The number one rule of a successful loving tour is start at home, end at home.
Hello, hail true metal warriors of Schenectady.
Hail true metal warriors of Elmira.
Hail students of Cornell, are you ready to rock?
Woo!
You jest. I
Ithaca,
don't mean.
Can you hear me?
Those are the places to see shows.
Dude, the the set list is all filler too. They played
all
MANOWAR. They played MANOWAR, Blood of My Enemies, Sign of the Hammer.
Yeah.
Then a bunch of new shit that no one wants to hear. Then the Warrior's Prayer on tape. And
of
then
course.
Blood of the Kings, probably the new one with the awkwardness. And then another video. Then Kingdom Come, which I love that song.
It's a good song.
Then guitar solo. Unfortunately, it was by Carl Logan. Then Heart of Steel, that would have been great. And then another video. Then Sting of the Bumblebee, Wheels of Fire. Then another video, Hail and Kill, Kill with Power. Then Joey had a speech. And then their encore was Warriors of the World and Black Wind, Fire, and Steel, and then an outro tape. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tapes, one speech, one guitar solo no one wants to hear, and then a couple songs no one wants to hear because they're on Lord of Steel. So,
I mean, I guess they need to take frequent breaks.
Yeah.
Well, they are like 70. So.
Yeah. I like no shade or anything. Like, you got to take a break if you're going to put on the show that you want to.
I'll bring this up on our the next episode of the bracket, the March MANOWAR Madness. But their first album has numerous references to Vietnam, and then they spent like most of their career pretending that they're in their late 30s. So,
yep.
But kind of hard to do when you're riding on your death tone, you know. I got sent to Nam.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about wraps it up. Unless you had anything to add.
No, this was great. Thanks for reading us the article. We should do this.
I really like this format.
It's bringing me back to Iceland all those years ago when you read us Tim and Tolkien's autobiography.
Oh shit, maybe that should be an episode.
Maybe it should. We'll get my sister to guest star.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
It's depressing.
It is depressing. That was good. All right. Until next time, Metal Nation, hopefully the next episode you get will be the one where we award the crown and the ring to the winner of March MANOWAR Madness. But until then, keep it true, my Mana Warriors, and so on.